Am I in a trauma bond? This is what a lot of people ask. Like, they start to wonder and they start to question, what's going on? Like, what's going on in this relationship? What's going on in my life? What's going on with all of this going on? It just doesn't feel right. And sometimes people start to slowly begin to get an awareness of being abused, having abuse in their lives, being abused by another person emotionally, physically, sexually, mentally. And they start to wonder, this might not be the best relationship for me to be in. In fact, maybe they get to the place where they say, hey, this relationship's toxic, and they want to get out. And they go to leave, and then they realize, wait a second, I can't leave. And there's something pulling you back. There's something holding you a little bit longer. There's something that's compelling you to stay. See, the idea with a trauma bond has this concept of mentally, I know in my mind this relationship is bad. I know in my mind this relationship is toxic. This relationship is something that I don't feel good about. I don't connect with. This is not a place I want to be, because every time I'm with this person, I have high anxiety, I have stress, I have frustrations, I have anger, I have all these issues that are coming about, but only with this person. So maybe this person is not a good person to be in my life, but I can't leave. I don't think it'd be good for me to leave. We're so good together. Like what about who I am? Like, what would I feel about myself? Like, there's all these thoughts, and it makes you feel crazy. It makes you feel like I have no clue what the hell is going on, because this relationship is bad and I still want it. How do those things connect? How do those things correlate? What you're dealing with is probably a trauma bond. Let's talk about trauma bonds a little bit. Trauma bond. A bond that can form between an abused person and his or her abuser, in which the abused becomes psychologically addicted to the roller coaster of positive and negative reinforcement that he or she experiences. A trauma-bonded child of a parent abuser is likely to seek out that similar relational dynamics and form codependencies with other abusers unless the cycle is broken. Side note, oftentimes I'll hear people that say, I feel like I just attract narcissists, that I just keep getting in a toxic relation time and time again. And they're like, I don't understand what's going on. I'll tell you right this, if you feel like you're stuck in a cycle, best words ever going to be ever. Break the cycle. That takes work. It takes a lot of work to be able to break that and be able to say, hey, I'm not going to go back to this type of person, even though they feel safe, even though they feel like love, even though they feel like that's what I need. Because they're more exciting than the boring, non-narcissistic person. People have said that. People feel that. That trauma bond is real. So let's talk about trauma bond a little bit more. I'm going to touch base on this book here, The Narcissist in Your Life by Julie Hall. Trauma bonding. Narcissists typically manipulate a codependent partner through alternating abuse and special treatment, which often are a reflection of the narcissist's fluctuating pattern of idealization and devaluation. The codependent falls into his or her own patterns of avoiding attack while also seeking such rewards as affection, praise, sex, or money. In this dynamic, the enabler experiences trauma bonding with the abusive narcissist, becoming emotionally and physically addicted to the roller coaster of positive and negative reinforcement. You see, the trauma bond is built with the highs and the lows. Think of it this way. If I'm here and you're there, and I walk up to you and I slap you, and then I give you a hug. It's confusing, right? And then I slap you again, and I say, I'm sorry. Like, I got upset, like I love you. And I slap you again, and I say, that didn't happen, I love you. And I slap at you again, and I say, why are you reacting? And I slap you again, and it happens over and over and over again, but you take the negative and you take the positive and you match them up together a lot of times, and all of a sudden you get to the place where you're so confused. This is why you call your narcissist out on something, and they'll gaslight you. This is why you call them out, and they'll future fake. This is why you get ready to break up with them, and they get ready to propose. This is why you call them out on cheating and they plan a trip to Hawaii. All these different things kind of line up of these highs and lows that put you in a negative sense, but you feel the positive. So you get confused. And that cognitive dissonance starts picking up more and more, and you're like, wait a second, what is going on? To outsiders, a trauma-bonded codependent partner may appear irrational and self-destructive for staying in the relationship, but the reality mirrors other forms of domestic abuse and can be very difficult to break free from because of the codependent's dysregulated trauma response. It's like where you don't have a chance to express your feelings, to engage with your feelings. Those aren't allowed. Often, such people are psychologically vulnerable to negative feedback loops of trauma bonding addiction because of early experiences with narcissistic or otherwise inadequate caregiving in their family of origin. Bessel van der Klerk describes the process this way. When the persons who are supposed to be the sources of safety and nurturance become simultaneously the sources of danger against which protection is needed, children maneuver to reestablish some sense of safety. Instead of turning on their caregivers and thereby losing hope for protection, they blame themselves. They become fearfully and hungrily attached and anxiously obedient. Were you in a narcissistic relationship? Did you have narcissistic parents? Did you have inadequate caregiving? Like, what's going on there that's making you want to go back to this person? That's making you feel like you can't leave? Let me tell you this right here and now. You're not crazy. You're made to feel that way. You're constructed to feel that way. You're designed by the toxic person to feel that way. So when you try to get help, when you try to question it, when you try to Google, do I have a trauma bond, that you see this and you say, wait a second, this is actually true. This is what's going on in my life. They don't want you to think that. They don't want you to know that. As adults, such people who are predisposed to unconsciously seek out and reenact patterns of abuse, with women more often playing the role of victim and men playing the role of aggressor. Our cultural emphasis on male authority, privilege, and aggression, and female subservience, service, and self-sacrifice both reflect and perpetuate toxic masculinity and destructive power imbalances at all levels of society. Whether one is in the role of selfish overtaker or selfish overgiver, alienation is the norm and self-accusation impossible. Regardless of gender or other markers of difference, we all need to balance a self-respect and humility, giving and receiving, intimacy and self-reliance, loving and letting go. Frequently, codependent partners of narcissists stay in their relationships even when they realize they're being abused because they feel they deserve such treatment and or they don't see a way out. Their abusive mate is likely to have undermined them and their independence and support network by eroding their self-confidence, gaslighting their sense of reality, burdening them with excessive responsibilities and problems, isolating them from friends and family, draining their finances, alienating them from their children, threatening to leave them with nothing and or threatening to harm or even kill them. Did any of that resonate with you? As I read that list, did anything pop up and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, that is exactly what I'm going through? Leave a comment below to let people know, because a lot of people don't realize they're in this and a lot of people have no clue. So when you're thinking, am I crazy for being in this relationship? Am I crazy for wanting to be with a toxic person? Am I crazy for wanting to go back to that abuse? The answer is no. It's a normal response for a person who's put in the system that a toxic person created for you to feel addicted and for you to feel crazy and to question your reality. If you're struggling with that today, I want you to get help. I want you to reach out. There's a lot of people out there willing to help. I do have one-on-ones that I talk to people on a day-to-day basis. I'm not a coach. I'm not a counselor, not a therapist. I'm working my way to be a life coach to help people through these aspects. I deal with my own experiences. I deal with what I've learned. I deal with what I know. I deal with stuff I've learned with the Warrior Project, and to make myself change my behaviors and help people do that as well. And if you're stuck in these type of relationships and you're trauma bonded and you feel, I feel crazy for wanting to be with this person, but I want to be with this person, and back and forth, there's hope. And you're able to break free. My goal in working with people on a day-to-day basis is to provide them with the tools so that they can break free from the narcissist. They can learn to get out of the addictive cycle of being with that person. They can develop clarity and focus and vision. They can have the tools to do that on a day-to-day basis. My goal isn't to have you in this narcissistic trauma-related coaching for the rest of your life. My goal is to see you change, grow, excel, live your best life. We do that a couple different ways. We do that with one-on-ones. We have live events where we interact, talk with different people, try to be able to help them with different questions. We have the NARC app, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, NARC. Look it up, Google Play, Apple Store. Look it up there because that is a tool and a resource to connect with community, with other survivors, with other people who have been abused, and be able to find and see your way out of the fog that the narcissist puts you in. Find help, seek help. Thanks so much.